Hey guys, and welcome back to another video here reacting to some FIFA 21 news. If you've been around the channel for a while, you know on FIFA 21 I plan to do a Road to Glory where we absolutely grind our way through Ultimate Team for the entirety of the FIFA 21 title. That was a bit of a tongue twister there, but anyway, the full list of FIFA 21 icons have been released and I'm pleased with it. You can see the list on the screen here. As a former Chelsea fan, you cannot complain too much at all. Obviously, you've got the normal icons, the full range listed down below, but you've got the additions at the top. And if I can count correctly, there are 11 new additions, obviously 11 players in the football team, to the icon roster. And 4 of those are actually former Chelsea players. One of them is my favourite player of all time. So I am very, very happy with this list. We'll start breaking them down. Eric Cantona. How he's only just been added is a mystery. One of Manchester United's best ever players, one of the Premier League's greatest ever players, scorer of beautiful goals, Kung Fu kicked a fan in the Kung Fu kicked a fan in the face, bit of a maverick. We all love a maverick. Think of Zlatan, you've got Eric Cantona, he's up in the same bracket. Absolutely brilliant player, Manchester United legend. A lot of Manchester United fans, it's one of the most supported clubs in the world, so they will be very pleased to get their hands on Cantona, and I think he will be one of the most expensive icons out of the new additions. Then we've got Ashley Cole, or as Arsenal fans refer to him as Cashley Cole. For me, the Premier League's best ever left back, of course starting off at Arsenal where he was great, and then he moved to Chelsea, my club, very happy about it. He was definitely Chelsea's greatest ever left back. Unbelievable. We offered him a lot of money to come from Arsenal because at the time Arsenal were probably better than us, but I think he saw the project that was happening at Chelsea. You'll call it dirty Russian oil money. I call it a project under Roman Abramovich. But he come in, and during Chelsea's most successful time, he was a consistent performer, giving you an 8 out of 10 each and every week. I love Ashley Cole. It's great to have defenders like him in the icon lineup. Bringing us on to Petr Cech, another Arsenal-Chelsea connection. Petr Cech, probably the most decorated Premier League goalkeeper, not in terms of like club trophies, but in terms of individual honours. He holds the record for the most clean sheets in Premier League history. I think 202. He holds the record for achieving 100 Premier League clean sheets in the fewest amount of games. It took him just 180 Premier League appearances to achieve 100 clean sheets. That's obviously better than a clean sheet every other game, which is madness. Of course, he did play in the 2005 Chelsea team under Mourinho, which won a lot of games 1-0, but he is an amazing goalkeeper. There are so many honours. I've actually got them up here. The 2 records that I've spoken about. He's won the Premier League Golden Glove with 2 separate clubs. He's won it a joint record 4 times. He was voted the best goalkeeper in 2005, which is no surprise. It's that Mourinho era where we won loads of games 1-0. He also received the best goalkeeper award in 04-05, 06-07, and 07 and 08 of the UEFA Champions League team, which is absolutely mental. And of course, he famously went over 1,025 minutes without conceding a goal in that very season, which is still, to this day, a Premier League record. And he has the 3rd most clean sheets since 2000, the year 2000, among all goalkeepers. Mental stuff. Welcome to the icon list, Petr. Then it's Samuel Etto, one of the greatest strikers of all time. Obviously one of the greatest African players ever. Inter Milan, Barcelona, stint at Chelsea, stint at Everton. He is just a proven goal scorer. Electric pace, really good on the ball, terrifying as a defender to see Samuel Etto running at you. He could score all types of goals. He could beat a man, he could take players on, he could do a delicate chip. Wasn't bad in the air considering his height. He did score his fair amount of headers. Was famously criticised by Mourinho for being an old man and then pulled out that dirty celebration that we often see in FIFA. But his goal scoring record is absolutely amazing. Electrifying pace, like I said. He is going to be dirty. If you're going for a sweaty team on FIFA 21, you want Samuel Etto in there. He is going to be popular, I think, amongst fans. Maybe not the most expensive icon out of the forwards that I can see on this list, but he will certainly be right up there. Great player and an all-time great for sure. Then my boy, the other Chelsea man, Fernando Torres. I mean, it didn't really work out for him here, but Liverpool fans will be dribbling over this one, I'm sure. So will Atleti fans, because Torres, boyhood hero at Atletico Madrid, obviously ended up going back there at the end of his career, but his most electrifying time for me was when he came to Liverpool. He scored on his debut, I think on his first home debut, I should say, a brace against Chelsea. We could not handle him. Incredible player, electrifying pace, scored all types of goals, could smack it from outside the box, very good in the air, and also very quick. I'll be interested to see out of Etto and Torres which one of the 2 EA deemed to be the quicker one, because Torres was quick anyway, and up until like the last FIFA, he was still my best pack pull, an 88 rated Torres. I think he was back in the day, that Liverpool card there. But Fernando Torres, what a player. What an absolute player. Even like, he was considered a flop at Chelsea, but his goal scoring record was still good. Didn't hit it off like he did at Liverpool at all. That's where the best Torres was, but he did have a knee injury. I think that's probably why Liverpool sold him in that famous £50 million move. But what he did at Liverpool was amazing. He had Chaby Alonso behind him, Steven Gerrard, and probably that is my favourite Liverpool team of all time. Obviously, they've gone on to win the Prem this year. Congrats to them. But I still think that Liverpool team was amazing. They played some wicked football. Gerrard and Torres had an understanding. So you've got Gerrard, obviously the icon already. If you get them two in your team, you are laughing. Then we've got Philipp Lahm, German legend, of course, Bayern Munich legend. I'm not thrilled by this one. He's a very versatile player, obviously right back or a CDM. I think they will probably make this, obviously you have 3 versions of him. They'll probably make all 3 versions, right back, right wing back, and then a CDM. I'm just totally guessing this. I don't have any inside knowledge. It's probably, the information's probably out there somewhere, but I haven't seen it. But for me, not one to get excited about. If you're German, definitely. If you're a Bayern Munich fan, for sure. But I don't see him being one of the most expensive out of the new editions of the icon cards. Obviously, the German link-up will go well. You've got Schweinsteiger in new edition as well. We'll talk about him in a minute. But you've got Michael Ballack, you've got Miroslav Klose, you've got Matthaus, you've got some decent German icons. Jens Lehmann in there, of course, as well. Did I just call him Lenz Lehmann rather than Jens Lehmann? That's cool. I prefer that. He should change his name. But yeah, surprise addition for me, Philipp Lahm. I don't know your thoughts on that. I don't know if I'm being harsh. But yeah, definitely a surprise addition for me. Been ever present in the Champions League for a number of years, and obviously the Bundesliga is not a league that I've followed to the extent that I've followed the Premier League. But you know, welcome to the icon edition, Philipp Lahm. I suppose we'll see if he's popular. I think he'll be the cheapest or one of. And then you've got Puskás, an amazing player. Obviously at Budapest, he has a stadium named after him. You're probably thinking, oh, I recognise that name, but I don't remember much about him. Obviously, he sadly passed away now. But the Puskás Award for the scorer of beautiful goals, he started that. He was a scorer of spectacular goals. You've only got to search it on YouTube and see some of the goals that he'd scored. Most famously for Real Madrid, where he spent the majority of his playing career at one of the top clubs. Goal scoring record is absolutely insane. Whether it's for Hungary, he also played 4 goals for Spain, 4 games for Spain as well. But his goal scoring record is absolutely frightening. I've actually got it here. 358 goals in 50 games for Budapest, and then 156 goals in 180 games for Real Madrid between 1958 and 1966. That totals 514 goals in 530 games at club level, and then 84 goals in 85 games for Hungary, who were not like world dominators. They were a great side back in the day, probably down to him, but 84 goals in 85 international games. That is an unbelievable ratio. Unbelievable. So yeah, welcome to the icon edition. I think his card will be dirty in a good way. I think he'll be one of them stats that you go, I need that in my club. I don't care how I get it, but I need it. Obviously, you haven't got a great amount of Hungarian legends. In terms of chemistry, you know, if you're going for that super chem, I think that could be a barrier for having Puskás in your team, but bloody hell, just he'll be there. He'll be ever present. And then Bastian Schweinsteiger, very similar to Philipp Lahm for me. Obviously, he was a bit of a one-club man at Bayern Munich. Famously missed the penalty in 2012. Sorry to remind you guys of that. But yeah, I love him just for that reason. He should have got an icon card then. But here he is now, Bastian Schweinsteiger, very similar to Michael Ballack in terms of he can dominate the midfield. Had a spell at Manchester United as well, of course, so they're going to be happy to see him in this lineup, I think. By then, he was probably past his career best, but was still an effective player for the club. So he's got it all, very much an all-round midfielder. Ball control, can dominate and dictate the tempo of a game, can get stuck in. There's nothing the man can't do, really, apart from take penalties. There's nothing the man can't do. In terms of the awards, got some stats up here. Obviously, one World Cup winner, same as Philipp Lahm. He took over actually, captain. I'm waffling now, aren't I? I'm just reading from Wikipedia at this stage. He took over captaincy of the German national team when Philipp Lahm, the other icon, retired. But yeah, you can see these stats here on Wikipedia. Madness, absolutely madness. And coach Joachim Low has referred to Schweinsteiger as one of the greatest players Germany has ever produced. How's that for a compliment, man? And we've got Croatian striker Davor Sukay. Now, I'm really going to show my age here, but Football Manager or Champ Manager 1999, Davor Sukay was, you loaded the game up, you picked your team, you signed Davor Sukay. That's it. Anyone that's about my age, around the 30 mark, you can relate to that. You just got him to your club no matter how much it cost you, because he is a pure finisher. He did also spend a spell in the Premier League, firstly at Arsenal and then at West Ham, making fewer appearances for them, but he did grab goals for both clubs. In front of goal, there's nobody more composed. He's the Golden Boot winner of France 98. Wicked World Cup. Croatia didn't win it. France did, beating Brazil in the final, and even though he played less games, he went on to score, I think, 7 goals in 8 games, winning the Golden Boot. That is an incredible World Cup record. Miroslav Klose is obviously the other world-renowned World Cup goal scorer, but Sukay is right up there. Klose obviously already an icon, but we've got the Croatian man in the mix, and I think he'll be expensive. I think his shooting stats are going to be, right high. In the prime version, it's got to be like 95 or something silly. Davor Sukay, what a player. And then a Premier League legend, a Premier League hard man, Nemanja Vidic. Manchester United fans will love this. As a Chelsea fan, I'm gutted to have Vidic and not Terry, because they're often spoken about in the same bracket. And obviously you've got Rio Ferdinand, already an icon as well. So now we've got Ferdinand and Vidic. You can recreate that legendary Manchester United centre-back pairing. It can be done. Ferdinand and Vidic, that is going to be such a sought-after centre-back pair here in Ultimate Team. Vidic was a hard man, brave as anything, really big, really strong. The only man that I consistently saw give Vidic problems was Fernando Torres, the icon that's just sitting right above his head here. But Nemanja Vidic, incredible player. But now I'm just gutted that JT's not an icon. I was praying for JT. If I could pick one icon to add this year, it would have been John Terry. But I can't complain for former Chelsea men in this new edition. Nemanja Vidic, welcome to the club. Very tall, very strong, very physical, as I've said already. Had a bit of pace as well. It wasn't his best attribute, but sometimes centre-backs, big bulky ones, are slow and lacking on the pace side. He was okay. He wasn't the slowest that I've seen. He's certainly quicker than JT, but Nemanja Vidic, welcome to the icon lineup, mate. I'd certainly have you in my team, no question. Then finally, for those of you that know me, my favourite midfield player at all time, Chaby Hernandez, Barcelona legend. There's that horrible, horrible image, or lovely image, whatever way you want to put it, of him sitting down on the pitch at the Nou Camp after his final game for Barcelona. But what this man could do is unbelievable. He's won it all. He's won the Euros. He's won the World Cup. He was at Barca. He's won pretty much everything there is to win. He is just a pure footballing man, a technician, a midfielder that had technical ability like no other, in my opinion. He's up there, and he doesn't get the recognition that I think he deserves. People talk about Zidane, people talk about Figo, like the best midfield players of all time. Xavi's in that bracket for me. Him and Iniesta, unbelievable players together. And obviously Iniesta is Iniesta an icon? He's not an icon, but he will be an icon. And then you can have Xavi and Iniesta, but amazing stuff. But if you're creating you want to create a super Spanish team, you can do that now with these icons. There are so many in there. You've got Pep, you've got Puyol, you've got Butra, you've got, who else is there? Raul. You could literally create one of the scariest teams using only Spanish players. And now you can add Chaby, Fernando Torres to that mix as well. It is unbelievably scary. But for me, Chelsea team past and present is very much on now. Obviously got Lampard, Cole, Cech, Etto, Torres, Ballack. It's looking really, really good. Crespo as well, of course, was at Chelsea for a while. I'm just looking through the other icons. There's probably some more that I've missed. But amazing, amazing additions for me. Shevchenko, yeah, of course. They're really good additions. I think you can make a case for every single one. Some are surprising. I think Schweinsteiger and Philipp Lahm mainly for me, and that's nothing against Germans. I just realised that, but just surprises me. They've obviously been part of the Germany team, the best national team that they've produced for a while. So, and they were at the very heart of it. They were the two captains. So maybe I am being a little bit harsh. Puskas, great to have him in there. A great honour to his legacy. Cantona, surprised me that it's taken this long, but he's going to be awesome on FIFA 21. But what are your thoughts, guys? Let me know. I did waffle through that slightly, but hey-ho. That's my just initial reaction. It's the first time I've seen this list. So very happy to have these boys in the icon lineup. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know if you're hyped for FIFA 21, and I will see you again soon.